So yeah, I know what a lot of you are thinking. Oh no, here comes another boring video about Venezuela. And you know what? I can kind of see where you're coming from because a lot of people would have to ask themselves, what does this have to do with me? How is this relevant to my daily life here in America? The things that I believe, the things that I'm shown in the mainstream media. How is this something that I need to consider as important in my life? Well, one thing, today is, by the way, the birthday of Simón de Bolivar. He is the South American George Washington, a man who tossed off the chains of the Spanish Empire for the folks that lived down there. And believe me, if you don't know about the Spanish Empire and the level of reach and power they had during their height, you've never heard of the English Inquisition. Okay, the Spanish were no joke, and at one time controlled 80% of the world's wealth, known wealth at the time. So what this guy did was no small feat, and every country down there sees this guy as virtually their George Washington. Every country has a Plaza de Bolivar, Bolivar Avenue, Bolivar this, that, and the other. But if you want to, do a quick history on the Spanish Empire, and once again, the question being, why is this relevant for me? Well, the big lie is that Venezuela is this horrible, terrible, socialist, failed state that just every time it's tried, it totally fails, and this is just the eventual end of that country. Well, you can look up this thing called income taxes, and every major first world country has some level of income taxes. And the rate that is assigned to Venezuela, and you can look this up independently anywhere you want to, is 34%, the top marginal income tax rate. Now, if you go to a list of countries by that rate, comparing apples to apples, you find a very strange thing. So here's a list of countries from the Americas. Aruba has the highest at 59. The United States has 37. So the income tax rates, on average, in the U.S. are higher than in horrible, evil, terrible, failed state Venezuela. Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Ecuador, Mexico, and then Venezuela down here at 34, ahead of, strangely, Canada. And you get all the way down here and you find something even stranger. Oh my goodness, look, that terrible, nasty, horrible socialist dictatorship of Bolivia has only a rate of 13. But this doesn't take into account that the vast majority of Venezuelans don't pay any income taxes because they work in industries that are exempt from it. Where Venezuela gets most of its income is from taxes on unearned income, interest, and that type of thing. And it's caused a giant flight of a certain type of individual out of that region, and I will just let you guys do your own conclusions on that as to who that I'm referring to. So most Venezuelans don't pay any taxes at all, and gasoline down there is, at one time, was completely free. Literally all you did was show up and you tipped the guy who pumped it in your car. That was it. So you can go through and you can look this up for yourself if you think I'm making things up. They have something called a taxable unit down there. It's something they use to kind of offset the inflation issue, but the net effect is the vast majority of individuals in Venezuela, a country of 30 million people, do not pay any taxes to the government, and there are no such thing as state income taxes or local income taxes in Venezuela at all. This horrible, terrible socialist state that everyone seems to think is the latest victim of just a completely terrible socialist dictatorship. This is nothing more than misinformation put out to you by those who control the media, the ones that have largely been thrown out of Venezuela. Certain group of people I'm not going to mention here, but they really have seen their numbers vastly decline down there for a certain reason, and you would have to ask yourself why. Why could it be that unearned income that is heavily taxed and actual earned income that isn't taxed should result in such a thing? So we've been able to establish clearly that we have a country that has no problem arming its citizens by the tens of, if not hundreds of thousands, that has a leader that's actually worked a double shift in his life and knows what it's like to actually have a job, go do something for a living, that strangely enough, we see in this country a complete state of unanimity between the left and the right media, both, which should worry you greatly about the story in Venezuela. Of course, you Google this and you see just one story out of both Fox, CNN, NPR, all of the major outlets say the exact same thing. And that should make you worry. One second here while this loads. And the big argument in this country, of course, we've seen the socialization of medicine, where medicine has been turned over to government to fix. And here we see literally the exact opposite. The leader going to the leaders of hospitals, doctors, and saying, you fix this for us. You tell us what you need, and then we will let you take the lead on it. So the things that Americans are concerned about, their money, their health, their gun rights, all can be demonstrated very, very clearly here. And you can, if you think I'm kidding about the issue with a certain group of people, you can go down here and just type in Venezuela on Wiki, and it'll talk about all sorts of different things in its history and the level of success that it's had and its problems. But strangely enough, this country that is nearly 90% Christian, and there are more agnostics and atheists than a certain other group of people we are trying to let you know who we're talking about here, has almost completely disappeared. It's funny that no one's ever heard of the Caracas cartel, the Maracaibo cartel, or the Valencia cartel, but we've heard clearly of Bogota and Medellin and Cali, haven't we? So I think this might maybe give you a look into the lie that you're being told about a country that, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, religion. The Jewish community has strangely shrunk in recent years due to rising anti-Semitism in Venezuela. I wonder why. With the population declining from 22,000 in 1999 to less than 7,000 in 2015. That's interesting. They don't even make the top 5. Catholic, Protestant, agnostic, other religion, no answer. 7,000 out of a country of 31 million. So that should probably do it, at least for today's video, in showing you that there is a huge lie being put out about the failure of evil, terrible, horrible, untenable socialism, quote unquote, giant air quotes, socialism, in this country, Venezuela. That there has been an agenda in the media, and we'll just leave it at that, from a certain group of people that we shall remain nameless here, that have a vested interest in the destruction of this country, and that have done everything that they know how to do from time immemorial to destroy the freedom of people and destroy economies and take control of those that they don't see as equal to themselves. And this country, Venezuela, has had the gall and the audacity and the temerity to stand up to a certain group of people that have controlled the media in this country for a very, very long time, and have controlled the message and have made you believe one thing on the left and another thing on the right, and have controlled the entire argument for you, not even allowing you to think that there might be a third option. And I think the issue with taxes shows that very clearly, that in this country, where we say that we are free and that we are living under a constitutional republic, we pay higher taxes than they do down there, by far. In fact, strangely enough, if we go back to this list, and this is what we'll leave with, If you go to the G20 on this, and this is trading economics, to see this same list, Japan, 55.95. Wow. China, 45. The U.S., 37. But look at all of these places that have lower taxes than the United States. India, Mexico, Turkey, Canada, evil, terrible, horrible, socialist Canada, and Russia down at 13. So I will let you folks do this research on your own, but a happy birthday to Simón de Bolivar, the liberator of South America. Like, share, subscribe.